The Islamic Golden Age was a time of incredible intellectual and cultural flourishing. This era, spanning several centuries, saw the Islamic world become a beacon of knowledge and progress. It was a period where science, culture, and the arts thrived, creating a legacy that would influence the world for generations to come. From the 8th to the 13th centuries, the Islamic world stretched from Spain to India. This vast expanse of land, encompassing diverse cultures and peoples, was united under a common pursuit of knowledge and understanding. The empire's reach facilitated the exchange of ideas and innovations across continents. This vast empire fostered a spirit of inquiry and learning. Libraries and institutions of higher learning were established, becoming centers of intellectual activity. Scholars from various regions and backgrounds came together, sharing their knowledge and contributing to a collective pool of wisdom. Scholars from diverse backgrounds flocked to centers of knowledge like Baghdad and Cordoba. These cities became renowned for their academic institutions, attracting the brightest minds of the time. The House of Wisdom in Baghdad, for instance, was a hub for scholars who engaged in translating and preserving ancient texts. They translated ancient Greek texts, made groundbreaking discoveries in mathematics and astronomy, and advanced the fields of medicine and philosophy. The works of Greek philosophers like Aristotle and Plato were studied and expanded upon, leading to new insights and innovations. In mathematics, scholars like Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra, a field that remains fundamental to this day. This period of intellectual ferment wasn't confined to the sciences. Literature, poetry, and the arts also flourished, with poets like Rumi and Al-Mutanabbi creating works that are still celebrated today. The blending of different cultural influences led to a rich and diverse artistic heritage. Islamic theology also experienced a period of intense debate and development. Scholars engaged in discussions about the nature of God, the interpretation of religious texts, and the application of Islamic principles in daily life. These debates helped shape the theological landscape of the Islamic world. New ideas arose, challenging traditional interpretations of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad's teachings. This intellectual dynamism led to the development of various schools of thought within Islam, each contributing to a deeper understanding of the faith. The legacy of the Islamic Golden Age is a testament to the power of knowledge and the enduring impact of intellectual curiosity. Within this vibrant intellectual landscape, a new way of thinking began to emerge: rationalism. This was a period marked by a profound shift in the way people approached knowledge and understanding. The traditional reliance on faith and divine revelation was being complemented, and at times challenged, by a growing emphasis on reason and empirical evidence. Scholars from various cultures and backgrounds began to question established doctrines and sought to reconcile their religious beliefs with the principles of logic and observation. Influenced by Greek philosophy, some Muslim thinkers known as Mutazilites argued that reason should be the primary tool for understanding the Quran and Islamic teachings. They were deeply inspired by the works of ancient Greek philosophers such as Aristotle and Plato, whose ideas on logic, ethics, and metaphysics provided a rich foundation for intellectual exploration. The Mutazilites believed that human reason was a gift from God, meant to be used to uncover the truths of the universe and to interpret the divine message in a way that was coherent and just. They emphasized the role of human free will and God's justice. This was a radical departure from the deterministic views that were prevalent at the time. The Mutazilites argued that humans had the capacity to choose their actions and were therefore responsible for their deeds. This belief in free will was closely tied to their understanding of divine justice. They posited that a just God would not punish. The Mutazilites' rationalist approach often brought them into conflict with more conservative scholars who adhered strictly to the literal interpretations of the Quran and Hadith. These debates were not merely academic, they had profound implications for the religious, social, and political life of the Muslim community. For example, the Mutazilites argued that the Quran was created by God, rather than being eternally existent as traditionalists believed. This theological stance was significant because it suggested that the Quran, as a created entity, could be subject to interpretation and contextual understanding. In contrast, the traditionalist view held that the Quran was the uncreated, eternal word of God, immutable and beyond human critique. This difference in opinion had significant implications for how Muslims understood the nature of God and revelation. The Mu'tazilites' perspective opened the door to a more dynamic and evolving interpretation of Islamic teachings, one that could adapt to new knowledge and changing circumstances. However, it also sparked intense theological debates and conflicts, as traditionalists feared that such an approach could undermine the foundational principles of the faith. These intellectual battles were a testament to the vibrant and diverse nature of Islamic thought during this period, reflecting a broader global trend towards the integration of reason and faith. Amidst this intellectual ferment arose a scholar who would profoundly shape Islamic thought: Imam Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari. Initially a student of Mu'tazilite thought, al-Ash'ari underwent a profound intellectual transformation. He came to believe that while reason was important, it should not supersede revelation. Al-Ash'ari founded the Áshariyyah school of thought, which sought to reconcile reason and revelation. He argued that God's attributes, as described in the Quran, should be understood literally, but not in a way that compromises God's absolute oneness and transcendence. This marked a departure from both the strict rationalism of the Mu'tazilites and the literalism of some traditionalists. Section 4. Balancing Act, Reason and Revelation in Harmony. The central tenet of the Áshariyyah school was its emphasis on balancing reason and revelation. Al-Ash'ari believed that God had endowed humans with the capacity for reason. This faculty allowed them to understand the natural world and make reason alone was insufficient to fully comprehend God and his attributes. Revelation, as embodied in the Quran and the Prophet's teachings, was essential for guiding human understanding of the divine. The Áshariyyah school developed a sophisticated system of theology that sought to harmonize these two sources of knowledge. Section 5. Áshariyyah's enduring legacy, shaping Islamic thought. The Áshariyyah school had a profound and lasting impact on Islamic thought. It became one of the dominant theological schools in Sunni Islam. Its influence extended beyond theology, shaping Islamic law, philosophy, and mysticism. The school's emphasis on God's absolute power and the importance of revelation influenced legal interpretations. The Áshariyyah school's emphasis on reason, while subordinate to revelation, also helped pave the way for further philosophical inquiry within an Islamic framework. Section 6. Echoes of dissent, criticisms and controversies. The Áshariyyah school, despite its widespread influence, was not without its critics and detractors. Other schools of Islamic thought, such as the Maturidi school, offered alternative interpretations on issues like free will and God's attributes. Some criticized the Áshariyyah school for what they saw as an over-reliance on reason, potentially undermining the absolute authority of divine revelation. Others argued that their theological system was too complex and relied on philosophical concepts that were foreign to the Quran and the Prophet's teachings. 7. The Áshariyyah school today, a legacy of balance. Despite these criticisms, the Áshariyyah school remains a major intellectual force in Sunni Islam today. Its teachings continue to be studied and respected by scholars and students alike, who find in its principles a guiding light for navigating the complexities of modern life. It continues to influence theological discourse and legal interpretations in many parts of the Muslim world. From the bustling streets of Cairo to the serene mosques of Jakarta, the Áshariyyah school's impact is felt in the way Islamic law is interpreted and applied. Conferences and seminars often feature discussions rooted in Áshariyyah thought, showcasing its relevance in contemporary issues. The school's enduring legacy lies in its attempt to strike a balance between reason and revelation. This balance is not merely theoretical, but is actively practiced by scholars who meticulously study ancient texts while engaging with modern scientific and philosophical ideas. This synthesis of old and new creates a dynamic intellectual tradition that is both rooted in history and responsive to the present. This approach remains relevant in a world where faith and reason are often seen as being in conflict. In an age where scientific advancements and technological innovations challenge traditional beliefs, the Áshariyyah school's methodology offers a framework for dialogue and understanding. It encourages believers to not only hold fast to their faith, but also to embrace reason as a tool for deeper comprehension. The Áshariyyah school reminds us that engaging with both faith and reason, seeking harmony between the two, can lead to a richer and more nuanced understanding of our place in the world. This legacy of balance is not just a historical artifact, but a living tradition that continues to inspire and guide. It calls on us to look beyond the apparent dichotomy of faith and reason, urging us to find a middle path that honors both. In doing so, we can foster a more inclusive and enlightened global community, where diverse perspectives are not just tolerated but celebrated.